It's funny how you can be so desperate to leave a place, and then when it's finally time to go, you're desperate to stay. Scotland humbled me so much. I came in with all of these expectations about how I was going to spiritually evolve. I was desperate to have a glimpse, a Satori moment. And Scotland really was disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. I was totally alone. Yes, I could mingle with townsfolk, but I don't relate to the culture here. I don't know anybody. And so there wasn't anywhere I could run from myself. And I thought that it would be easy. That if I just relaxed into the flow state, that everything would work itself out organically. And from the ultimate sense, this is true. But it's easier said than done. And when coming face to face with the true depths of my own inner pain, I just felt utterly helpless. It was so beautiful and brutal and necessary all at once to be stripped away of all of these veneers, most of which were very spiritual. I really took myself as a spiritual person. So much that I thought I couldn't relate to non-spiritual people very well. I felt very alone. And earlier this year, I was actually supposed to move in with the spiritual community. I got very, very close. And when that fell apart, I went through a heavy grieving period. It felt like I had missed my chance to awaken more quickly and efficiently. But after it all happened, I realized something about myself which took a lot of honesty to admit. I wanted to stay in Boston, to hang out with my friends, to live in the house I was about to move into, to make music, to adopt a cat, to maybe find a partner, more than I wanted the quickest route to enlightenment. I wanted to enjoy every flavor of human life that I could sink my teeth into. So when I went to Scotland, I found myself missing all the human stuff and frustrated that I couldn't spiritualize that grief away. Disappointed at how plain everything had become. And horrified of the realization that no matter where I am, what I'm doing, or who I'm with, I'm always going to be myself. Always dealing with the same inner challenges and by that same token, inner opportunities. And all expectation, all hope for a more spiritual, a more awakened version of myself is bound to keep me bound. I went to Scotland with the expectation that I would experience intense, mystical something, or with the hope of that. But really, I experienced my own bondage just much more strongly. All sorts of unexpected situations arose which showed me sides of myself that I thought were so ugly, so unaligned with the creatorship I took myself to embody. I was walking through this gorgeous meadow, and I got really scared because all of these buzzing insects were flying around me. This phobia of buzzing insects, which is informed by a lot of things, really. It came up. And later, when I was walking home, an old couple stopped me and said, "Excuse me, young man, but you appeared quite troubled earlier. Are you all right?" And it was awfully Phone ran out of storage again. It was awfully thoughtful of them to ask me that question, but it was so embarrassing. I felt utterly naked. And I came up with this lie that I was meditating because I felt like I would have had to justify my fear. We had a whole conversation where I performed very well, but didn't speak an ounce of truth from my heart. And as I walked off, they said, "What a charming young man." Actually, people would ask me if I was all right a lot for a little bit. I would just be like standing on a bridge looking out at the view, and someone would come up to me and ask me if I was okay. Or I would be like sitting on a bench just chilling, and someone would like be clearly sussing out if like something's up with me. I think it's a mixture of things. I think Scotland is very community driven, very interconnected, especially in a small town. And I also think that young British men cause a lot of fuss, and so I probably look suspicious with my RBF trying to meditate on this random park bench at 7 p.m. but it just brought me face to face with how isolated I feel from society, how uncomfortable I am being myself in social interactions with strangers and acquaintances. How much I have been deafened by the straitjackets of culture and history. But I went to Sterling, a town about a 45-minute bus ride from here, for their first ever Pride Festival. It was so beautiful. It's a very conservative area. My dad used to live there and would get called slurs for wearing a pink bandana, but they had drag queens and queer musicians, and lots of people showed up. I just wanted to cry in the middle of the street. I just felt so vindicated. I don't know. And I could see these smiles plastered on the faces of all these old men who probably saw their best friends die in the 80s. And it was like, wow. Everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants to just be themselves. And no matter what identity you have, or where you are, who you're interacting with, what you're doing, it's like you feel tight. It's like we're all restricted by our own fear of being restricted. So I had to really accept that this character was going to put on a bit of a fake smile when walking around so that people didn't talk to him. I had to accept that I was going to struggle, to feel a lot of pain. And I did not want to accept it. I started to understand that all of the motivations I had initially had for starting spirituality were just ego. All of it. I felt like spirituality was the highest ambition a human could reach for. And I was desperate to be an awakened person. So when I felt pain, when I felt suffering, it felt bad. And in Scotland, I found myself between two stools, so to speak. I had been thrust into the spiritual search without understanding what it really meant. But I had gone in too deep to go back. I had seen too much. But in order to go forward and to really juice the mango of enlightenment, I was going to have to feel a lot of pain. I was going to have to look honestly at everything that was going on in this sensitive, neurotic, eloquent machine. And I could not accept that. I got very close to committing suicide. Very close. Because I was trapped. I was. Driven into a corner where I could either feel the pain or put it onto other people. Especially as all of the New Age beliefs and concepts that I didn't know I took so seriously started to crumble. I saw just how unable any of them were to make me happy. There was a night where I downed a bottle of wine, ate a pizza. Actually, there have been a lot of nights where eating pizza, browsing the internet for 5 hours, and masturbating was my coping mechanism. I got so mad at myself. And I didn't figure anything out, really, to save myself from suicidality. I just kind of accepted that maybe I wasn't ready for what spirituality required of me, and that I was going to have to dial it back and just live a human life for a while until it called. Even though spirituality is about living a human life, but you know what I mean by that, I think. And it was just this self-forgiveness, you know? That I didn't need to achieve something or better myself to be worthy of living comfortably. And it's funny, because just as I had kind of started to accept that I'm just going to step away from it, I met this master who I had actually met a couple years ago but felt turned away by because I wasn't ready. And I really recommend him. His name is Artem Boystov. He has a great interview with Frank Yang. I had a conversation with him where I was like, all my reasons to meditate are just because I'm not good enough. Does that mean that if I meditate, I'm reinforcing my ego? And he just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and was like, no. The reason you hate meditation is because meditation is rest. It shows you how restless you are, how much you hate yourself, and you can't bear that. So of course you don't want to meditate. And this one conversation brought up this really strange emotion. It wasn't happiness or sadness or really anything that I could describe. But it just came with this impulse to meditate and this sense that meditating was kind of the only honest thing I could do. Because what else was I supposed to do? All my coping mechanisms were seen to be so fucking empty. And the pain wasn't going anywhere, so I might as well feel it instead of overthinking and wanting to kill myself. And so I just meditated. It's the only thing that felt honest. And organically, a real practice started to emerge where I would meditate hours every day, and it felt sustainable and authentic. And it's persisted. Hopefully it does when I leave Scotland. Have to get a real job. It was like, once I forgave myself for not being spiritual enough, spirituality started to organically flow. And I still have plenty of things to work through and plenty of unhealthy coping mechanisms and whatnot, but there's people. I feel like I have a path, a real sense of what the universe wants from me. And this insight emerged recently. My restlessness is a rejection of my aloneness. My restlessness is a rejection of my aloneness. In many ways, Scotland was a constant meditation. I was robbed of most of the ways that I would run away from myself. I had to look inward, because where else was I supposed to look? And whether it was dealing with phobias when out in nature, or interacting with townsfolk and feeling social anxiety, which I feel right now as they prepare to walk by me, or feeling the constant obligation to make YouTube videos and grow the channel. It just felt like Scotland very quickly became a perfect hall of mirrors for all of the different parts of myself that I didn't want to see. The videos in particular. Some of my videos got really, really chaotic because so much was dropping away and I couldn't tell left from right anymore. But it had been a week, so it was time to make another video and get more views and subscribers and make more money by talking to clients. And I learned a lot from that. My first stop in spirituality was Gurdjieff. He's never talked about, but all of your favorite New Age ideas would not exist without Gurdjieff. He brought spirituality from the East to the West, in many ways, kind of single-handedly. And I'm part of a group that studies under the teachings of the late William Nyland, who was a student of Gurdjieff's that was sent to New York to bring Gurdjieff to America. And I've been sending videos back and forth almost daily with one of the elders of that group, who I've grown quite close with, you could say. And one of the things he told me, he cited it from another student of Gurdjieff's actually, but he said, "Hold on tightly, let go lightly." And with the YouTube videos, you know, one day I woke up and I went on a hike and I was like, I'm going to film a video. So I filmed the video, felt pretty good while doing it. And then I went home, I edited it, I watched it back. And there was just nothing anymore. It just petered out. It was easy to just drop it because it was like, I didn't have to even release myself from it. It had run its course. I did it because I wanted to do it, and then I no longer wanted to do it. And it's easy to get mad at myself for all of the ways that still feel unconscious. But I'm worthy of love. I don't have to achieve something or to believe something or to create something or to satisfy something to be worthy of this love. I just have to see myself, to look at myself, all of my pleasure and my pain, honestly and persistently, and trust in the healing power of awareness. And even if I don't do that, if I continue the porn and pizza, if I quit spirituality and never meditate again, it's fine. Look at all this. It's fine. Even the most spiritual things, I had to see that I wasn't using them with the right intention. My tarot readings that I was giving myself, a lot of them just came from this need to know where something was going. My mom visited at the very start of this experience. She was there for about 10 days. I got really, really angry at myself that I couldn't be open around her. I've had to learn to meet myself where I'm at. That's kind of all spirituality is meeting yourself where you're at. All the cliches, it's okay not to be okay. They're true. It feels like there's something else I'm not saying, and I don't know what it is. My mind is like scrolling through all of the memories and things that I could talk about that I haven't. There were some really delicate moments here. I walked right past a wild horse and got to pet it, which I had never done before. Well, it wasn't wild, it was in a farm, but you know what I mean. The views were stunning, just stunning. There were a couple nice crying sessions. I really hope for more soon. I feel like I'm on the verge of tears a lot. I'm ready for a purge. I cooked some good fucking shit. I painted just for the sake of painting. And I saw just how deeply I love my friends and my family. And my friends with benefits. And I saw the possibility of freedom. Not the concept of freedom. Not this bullshit, everybody is already enlightened, there's nothing to do. But real freedom. True inner peace. And by destroying so many of the false images I had of myself, Scotland gave me the tools that I need to love myself as deeply as possible, to love you honestly. And it's been nice to be somewhere where I can't smoke weed. I was really, really, really addicted to weed. That's going to be one when I come back to Boston that is going to provide some excellent spiritual material to work with. Just take in the delicious air. Feel how much the whole universe is rooting for you. If you made it to the end of this video, comment your go-to Subway order. I used to go there, to go there and work there. Always have a soft spot for it. Oh, and I guess I'll just finish this video by sharing a couple what's next things. So I fly to Sweden tomorrow to see my brother for a few days. Then on Tuesday, the 1st, I fly back to Boston, celebrate my friend's 21st, wake up hungover to drive to New York to go to a weekend gurdjieff event, actually. Stay in Boston another week, head to Japan with my family for 2 weeks, and then at the very start of November, get back home settle into my new house. It's not my house, but I have a room there with non-spiritual people that I relate to and I adore, and I have so much to share with and to learn from. And then I start the search for a real job. So, if any really, really rich people who have too much money and are bored and find me attractive and eloquent and charming want to give me money, then ask me for my PayPal and we can work something out. You never know, my friends. You gotta shoot your shot, okay? I need a sugar daddy or something. I don't fucking know. And I'm gonna get back into the dating scene. I've been single since fucking not that long, like a year and a half. And you know, I thought that I could only date someone who's like a spiritual seeker like me. But I think being in Scotland has led me to realize that like like that's so fucking egoic. Or at least it can be. So I'm really excited for that. Okay, my friends. It's good to talk with you for a little bit about whatever experiences I had here. To be honest, I still don't even know how to... Hi, dogs. Oh, there's 3 of them. What the fuck? I still don't even know how to make sense of anything that happened, or... It's like it wasn't at all what I expected. Or even what I wanted. But it was exactly what it needed to be. I hope you're well. Please take care of yourself. Drink a nice glass of mineral water. And take some time today to sit still and get back in touch with yourself. And just stay there for a while. Till next time.